we'll put a little information out on how to put this chain system together. We'll start with the hardware you need. So you're going to need some M5 T-nuts, not the sliding ones. You want the ones that turn once they go in. So, and then you're going to need some M5 screws. And we'll start by what you need here. So that's going to be an M5 15 millimeter. I have 4 of those. This appears to be an M12, so we have 4 of these. This little one right here, it's probably going to be an 8. So this is an 8. So what do we got? We got 3 M5 at 8 millimeter, 4 M5 at 12 millimeter, and 4 M5 at 15 millimeter. Then we got 1 M3 and showing this one to be a 20 millimeter. Do not believe you need 20 millimeter. I believe all you really need is 12 should do it. So 12 to somewhere between 12 and 20 millimeter. It doesn't matter if it's long. This is the one that holds it to the bed. All right. From here. So the brackets that hold the power supply unit, which is right here, we use the regular hardware, the regular screws for putting the upper and lower on, the 4 screws that come out of the I'm thinking there might have been 6 screws that came out, but take 4 of the screws and go ahead and attach the brackets onto your bed through the 2 holes here. Do the same thing on the bottom. From there, we're going to take our longest screws, which were our 15, and go ahead and a little bit of a pain in the butt here. Pull it out like this so I can get a hold of it. I had this all put together and I don't really feel like taking all the wires apart here. So we're going to want to put these T-nuts on the bottom here. Put her down here. Lower you down here. Alright, so basically you're going to want to start that screw and just ever so slightly put it on the T-nut, like half turn, 1 turn maybe, not a lot. Same deal over here. Go ahead and you probably need to stick your Allen wrench through the hole. Bunch of awkwardness going on here. Alright. So, I got those barely started. Now I want to try to put them in the orientation, which is sideways. And we'll go ahead and slide this in, and there, right there, my T-nuts went right in. Now, if you look at this, we got a little wiggle on the top. Now we want to pull up on this when we tighten down on the box to get it up against the top. If you're still ending up with a little bit of wiggle on the top, what you want to do is right here between the seam and the power supply box, you're going to want to put a little shim in there. Unscrew the bracket on the bottom, put some couple pieces of paper in there. We do not want this tight. Just shim some paper in there, bring it up. The other thing you can do is on the bottom part of this extrusion right here, You can put a black piece of electrical tape that goes over the bottom part of that extrusion and then goes on this part right here, just to make sure it doesn't wiggle. But once you shim it up, tighten it down, there's not going to be any wiggle, because once this is up in place, the indent is the same size as the extrusion and will hold it very still. So from here, we're just going to reach in and I'm going to lift up. And so lift up and tighten down. Same over here, I'm going to lift up, tighten down. And you see right there, no go. So what happens is I had it bound. In other words, if you don't have these screws centered on the bottom, let's try this again. I'm going to slide it right in on the top, push it in on the bottom. Alright, I got it to bite that time. Alright, and I got the bottom one to bite. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, now that I got them to bite, I'm just going to loosen them up ever so slightly and give it a little bit of up tug. And same thing on the other side over here. Now, we still got a little bit of wiggle up here. I'm going to shim it, but I'm not going to do it right now. Basically, the bracket that you'll be getting is a little bit taller, so there won't be as much to shim. Mine is the first generation bracket, so I added 2/10 of a millimeter. You're probably still going to need to shim this possibly a little bit, just to make sure you have the perfect tension. Okay, moving right along. Now, as you can see right here, we have loom. I have the loom for the wires going into the control box and loom for the wires going to the bottom tray, so, or the side tray. Let's go ahead and start. I know this video sucks. It's kind of my calling card, really. So we have our tray. We want to clean this up so these snap together nice in here, and when they're right, they're good. Now, if I remember correctly, alright, we're going to want the 2 smaller screws. I believe those were an 8. Same deal. Ever so slightly thread these in. Now, you can use longer ones, and if you use longer ones, you can use a couple washers on the outside. Alright. So we got our screws set about a half a turn. We got them in the right position. And what we're going to do is just pop this in place. And that one started. And same deal, this one started too. And what we want to do is we want to slide this tray all the way to the back. And there we go. We're on the back. So now there's a little spot to slide your wires in right here. There is a pathway for the wires to come through. And now what we have is we basically have this cover that goes on here. Now when you get your cover, there wasn't a lot of flexibility in this tray. So what I did was I had pins on both sides. So what I've done is on the side closest to the printer, I've left my pins. I went ahead and cut off the pins on the other side of this. And then basically just pop that in that hole, snap that on, and there you see your tray is snapped on. You're nice and clean. Okay, so your cover, we didn't talk about the axis cover, it's already on here. We'll take the exact same screws from the one you took out. Pretty straightforward there. Alright, moving right along. We're going to slide it around right here. And what we have is we have our other tray. We're going to snap it together. Make sure everything's cleaned up so everything locks together nice. And we are together. So I believe I used the slightly longer screws on this. So the other ones were 8. I believe these are what, the 12s. You might be able to use 8s right here. Go ahead and put a... Now there's a couple of things about this tray. If you want, you have a wire harness here, and then yours will have the right size holes. I just have regular drilled holes with a drill bit. So it might be best to go ahead and fish these through. Yeah, I got a GoPro 9 coming, folks. Bear with me. We'll get it set up a little bit better. Same deal here, down from the top. Back up from the bottom. There you go, you just have your zip ties preset. And get our tray drop down in place. And we'll tighten them down. Now, there's a little screw that sticks up over on this side from the wheels. And you'll see that should be drilled out. Again, mine's ugly because prototype. Let's tighten these down. Beauty. So from there, we will go ahead and tighten our zip ties down to hold our wires. And there you go. There's your wire there, wire tie down, your tray. There is another wire tie down right here that I use. I believe the part you're getting has some holes right here that you can secure it either way. And as far as that hot end, you see it just pops on. Pop one side on, pop the other side on. Simple as can be. Next part. Got me a, so that looks like it's sticking through a little too much. Go back to our 8. See, our 8 barely sticks through. like I said, half a turn on this, so it's barely on there. Dirt to dirt. All right. So the key to getting these on there is that you can't be pushing up or down. You have to kind of have this loose in there, not pushed up tight against something, and that'll allow it to turn. And there we go. So that time we got her. And you see that's just sitting up there in the back. I don't know if you can see it right here. Yep, pretty bad video. Alright, from here, this part right here basically is going to push onto the bed. You'll see a little hole right here on the bed. This is going to slide on, and then this screw is going to go through here, through the bed, the aluminum bed, and then a little bit into the bottom. And the way we're going to do that, also on this one right here, this is another one where you might want to pre-feed a zip tie. Huh. I think well, I got one right here, so zip ties fell on the floor. So another good one where you might want to, alright, so we're going to face this way. So we're going to go down the top, come around, up on the bottom. Yeah, it's a terrible video. So right there, we'll have that ready. And so we'll grab our little screwdriver and I'm just going to thread this right through. It's a pretty tight fit. If you have any problems, ream it out. I believe it'll fit fine. That actually is an old part that we've used. It's just been shortened. Alright. And we'll put our zip tie on here. And there we have our neat chain and our strain relief. So we'll pop this up in here. And there you go. There's the connection down on the bottom. It's missing a cover. We need to get that cover on there. And it's attached at the top. Okay, we're going to come over here. So I'm not sure how much of my other video, my phone started dying. So take a look over here at the box that holds the wires. Obviously you saw everything runs through the box. Every wire runs through the box that doesn't go in the tray. The Z motor wire does come out of a hole in the bottom right here and run down behind this tape. And then everything else comes out this side right here. I'll try to clean this up a little bit. Alright, there's only one last part here to look at. And that's going to be the relocation bracket. Now you have some options. You could obviously, you might have enough cable, or you could get a longer stepper cable and put everything on the other side. But we already have some things sticking out here. So what we have is our longest screw over these 15, I believe. And that's a lie. So our shorter screws, the ones that are 12, they're going to go through and attach. So this is going to sit like this, and it's going to mount right here. So we're using the regular same T-nuts. And same deal on the other one. Drop your T-nut in the hole. Tighten these down. Now, kind of screwed up. Probably should have put this one on before I got the power box in the way. It's going to make getting that to the Allen wrench screws a little bit tougher. Alright, so it looks like the other ones. You always tell the length of your screw too by putting it in there and jamming it into the extrusion, and then just make sure you bottom out. If you bottom out right here on your part, then your screw is not too long. So same deal here. We're through. All right. I'm just going to want to come over here. Dirt. All right, we'll put these straight up and down. And you see they're in there. And amazingly, I got that one with my fingers. Alright, and same deal on the bottom. Alright, making it hard on myself. Alright, that one is tight. So there's your spool, that's very strong. That part gets printed solid. Now a couple other things to talk about here. One more thing to talk about, that is, so if you look on the back, you've got a little angle bracket back there, right here. Alright, you're going to want to get some for the front probably. Maybe not really necessary, but might as well put them on there. So you're going to need probably another 8 M5 12 screws, and then 8 more T-nuts. So the screen holder, I believe possibly if you wanted to put your screen like right here, that you would have a long enough cable. Most of the cables will reach, but you're probably going to want a longer cable. And so this is our new 5. This is the one we bought for like $240 on eBay. It was an open box from Dot Shop, and it was literally put together but never used. There was no marks on the wheels at all. But we're going to put we have a couple of crazy ideas. The first idea is not that crazy. We're going to go ahead and put a SKR 1.4 turbo board with the 7-inch screen, and we're going to put a 7-inch screen holder up here. We're probably going to recess it back a little bit and maybe even make it so you can pivot it to where you want it. So that'll be here, the screen replacement. I possibly might modify one of the existing screen holders that we already have, see if I can make something, although some people might want this screen and just sitting right here in the front. So we may make a screen. We probably can alter one that we have. Fairly simple. All right, now where are we at here? So here's our wires, here's our case, and it fits beautifully. Fits printed nice. And that just kind of pops into place there.